Hi, this is Gene from FixMyKey.com, and if you are watching this video, then more than likely you have a broken high security Honda key. I can fix these keys no matter what year and type car usually if you send me all the components, including the metal blank, the plastic housing with all the internals, and I can do that as far as early 2010 prices, about $30 retail, and I can repair these keys for you. I'm going to try to answer some of your questions, because I get a lot of questions about these. First of all, what's the problem? The plastic housing where the metal meets the plastic is weak. And especially if you have a lot of keys on your key ring that's dangling while you're driving your car, these can break. Once it breaks, it's not any good anymore. There is no way that I can just send you a housing where you can use the old metal blank and put it in a new housing with your electronics and fix your key. What you have to do is send the key to me or take it to a locksmith or a Honda dealership. You're going to have to use a new blank, take all the electronics and put them into the new blank, and then have this key professionally cut to match your car. And I can do that if you send it to me, because I have a key machine where I'll copy your key and put it into the new blank. Now, like I said, there's no simple way to do this, and I'm going to give you a few hints. First of all, if you decide to work on this key yourself, even if you're wanting to just change out the battery in the remote, use a lot of caution. Be careful. The reason is because they use a very, very tiny screw, Honda does, in the back of this key. Very, 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 very tiny. And they put a Loctite material to keep that screw from backing out into it. I have to use heat and a special screwdriver, a size 0 Phillips, to take that out. If you try to use a number 1 or number 2 Phillips, you're going to strip out that screw. It's going to make it a lot harder to repair, especially if you're just going to the local dealer or something to replace the battery. Then they're going to have to try to get it out. They may damage the key, and they're going to have to put in a new $3 screw, which you don't want to have to do if you're just replacing the battery. So please let a professional do it from the beginning instead of you doing it yourself. Hopefully at your Honda dealer or locksmith there will be somebody that has taken the time to learn the keys and some experience where they can remove it without damaging your keys. Now, why doesn't the Honda dealer, why aren't they able to repair your key? Well, it's really according to what year and type car you have. The ones that are really, really bad are the 03 and 04 Accords. They had a really, really weak key. They changed the design in the middle of 2004 to make them a little bit stronger, and they're stronger than they used to be, but they still all break. I've seen 2008, 2009 models that the keys are broken and just out of circumstances. I can repair all of them, and all of them are about $30. There's two basic designs, and for the older designs, 03 to 07 Accords, the CRVs up through 2006, the Pilots through 2008, all of the Ridge lines and so forth, different years, Honda had two different electronic components inside your key. And I'm going to show those to you now. And I'm sorry about the video quality, but this is a $20 camera. If I was using $1,000 worth of equipment, I'd have to charge you a whole lot more to fix your keys. There's basically two different electronic setups in the Honda keys. The earlier models used this style. The newer ones use this style. What you're going to see is the difference is both of them have a narrow top and bottom, and then on the sides, on the newer models, you've got equal lengths on both sides of the remote. On the older styles, you had a cutout area right here that made room for a small electronic chip that fit in the key housing right here. The newer ones don't have that. That is a place for what is called an immobilizer chip. The newer models, the immobilizer chip is actually inside this housing. So when we go to make a new key, all we have to do is cut a new blank and then take the remote, put it in the housing, and it's basically done. On the older models, we have to cut your new blank, then we have to put in the remote. Out of the old housing, we have to pry out the small electronic chip, and it's difficult because it's glued in place by Honda. Honda did not design these to be removed. However, they are removable. It just takes a little bit of work. And then we put it in the new housing. Put the back on, put the screw in, then we cut your key, and then you're ready to go. Like I say, the original Honda ones did not have what they consider removable. So your Honda dealer could not order you a blank without that electronics chip and just to switch over the blank. They still don't have those. Honda's solution is for you to get a new key. Now, what it takes for you to get a new key is typically, if you go to a Honda dealer, they're going to tell you that the key blank itself runs between $50 to $75, and then it has to be programmed by a technician. That runs between $50 to $100 and $125 or so. So you're looking at about $150 to $200 to replace that key. If you want to add a new key, that's still what you have to do. But in the old keys, the remote was programmed separately, and it's very easy to do. It's that small immobilizer chip that has to be done by a technician. The newer ones, if you're wanting to add a new key, all the immobilizers inside the remote, and they all have to be programmed by a technician. What I do is take all of your electronics, put it in a brand new blank, cut the blank to match your car, and so I'm able to do it for about $30 with no programming fees, because all the electronics I'm taking out of your old key are already programmed to your car and just going in a new housing. I do suggest that while I'm in there, most of the time, sometimes I see the battery is pretty strong. But if not, I suggest you let me put in a new battery in there. That's not very expensive. You can look at those prices on my website as well. Usually I give you a pretty good discount if I'm going in to repair your key anyway. I only work on Honda keys, only Honda high security keys. I do not make new keys. I copy yours. If you send it to me, I'm going to need all the components of your key, the metal blank, all the electronics in the housing, and I'm going to need your 17-digit VIN number. A lot of people want to know why. First of all, that way I can check your application to make sure that I have all the right components. I also record those. Since I'm not making you a new key, all I'm doing is repairing your key, I don't have to go by the standard locksmith rules about having all proper identification and everything, because I am just repairing your key. However, I do keep those VIN numbers on file just in case we do have any problems with theft or anything. I can report to the police any keys that I've been repaired if that car has been stolen. So, I hope that answers your questions. If you have any other questions, please go to my website at fixmykey.com. My contact information and my email address are on there. I'll be glad to answer any questions. A lot of times I'm just answering questions so that you can get your key repaired at your Honda dealer. Sometimes I'm having to give the Honda dealer information. So let me know if I can help. This is Gene at Fix My Key, and you have a great day.